I was just outside a minute ago. I was standing outside my apartment, and a bunch of things happened when I was out there. But this cop pulled up and stopped right in front of me where I was standing, and parked right there, and like pulled up synced, and then so I pulled my phone out. I started recording. I recorded for like 8 minutes or whatever, and but I'm just like standing there waiting for the cop to come back out. And then I was like, I'll just go inside. And then I start walking, and the cop comes back out all of a sudden. Like he's in there for like 7 minutes or whatever. Just right when I start walking, he walks back out like he was just standing by the door or something. I don't know, but like then he walks out, and then these other cops walk out too, and he like gets in his car synced. They get in their car synced, and then they're all pulling off as I walk by him and shit. And they're like, and the one cop waves at me, which they always do when I'm recording them. It's like, and then also when I was standing out there, um, this guy from my apartment walks up, and he has a lion shirt on, which I think is just a directed shirt. He might just have a lion shirt on, but probably not, because he's a stalker and he's always synced. And then I also saw a motorcycle sync with a bicycle again, which I've been seeing a lot lately. just just him, but like this time it was a guy, like he just walks up to his motorcycle, which is parked right in front of me, like also when I was standing out there, and he just walks up to it and like gets something out of the bag in the motorcycle or whatever, and like I look over and there's a bicycle down the street next to me. And then earlier today, I saw these like teenage girls that like they're going into a door synced in front of me. One of them has a white shirt, one of them has a blue shirt, and one of them has a red shirt. And they all looked like awkward, like they're like nervous or something to stalk. I don't know, but one of them had a white shirt, one of them had a blue shirt, one of them had a red shirt. So just always things happening. And then like I was just like pacing back and forth in front of my apartment, and like I was just like walking like just like in front of my door back and forth, and like they'll just like have cars just like there to like sync like when I walk by the door. Like I'm just like walking in front of the door like over and over, like I'm not like I'm just like walking near the door, you know what I mean? And like they just keep syncing when I walk in front of the door, or if not a car, then someone will like pop out of a building in front of me when I walk in front of the door or whatever. Like almost every time that I walk in front of the door, there's a sync. It's like constant syncs. And then also on that video that I recorded when I was standing outside my apartment, there's a guy that like walks, like he was syncing with the cop when he pulled up, I think, if I remember right. I didn't catch that part because like I didn't expect the cop to pull up. That's why I started recording. But I think he was syncing with the cop before that, but then he like walks back over by me and he hangs his phone up right in front. He's talking to someone on the phone and he hangs his phone up right in front of me. And there's like a whitey driving by at the same time that syncs with him. There's a lot of syncs out here. There's engine sounds when I was starting the live stream. There's people walking. Oh, another thing they'll sync is like when I'm listening to music and like I was listening to a song a minute ago and like when it goes from like it does the first verse and then the chorus and then when it's like starting the second verse of the song, I hear someone walk by in the hallway. They'll sync up with music like that all the time. They'll sync up with movies, like when a scene changes on a movie. They do lots of syncs. And then this morning I was just hearing people like walking around like in their apartment. And that was the sync, I think, because it was like syncing with my refrigerator and stuff. And like other sounds. Like I'll just hear like the floorboards creak or whatever. Like I'll just hear people walking through the walls. And that's the sync. They do all types of sync. They do subtle syncs, they do the loud syncs, the in-your-face syncs, and the far-away distant syncs. They do all types of sync. And they do it synced. They do all types of sync. One night I heard the air horn synced. They do the fireworks synced. There's just all types of sync. Just anything. Sync. sometimes they'll do a sync and I won't even realize that it's a sync until like like they'll be making like a subtle sound. My neighbor's coughing right now. They'll be making like a subtle sound in the distance or something, and I'll be like, just like I'll be focused on something else, and then I'll be like, wait a minute, that's a sync. Like I'll hear a truck beeping outside, and I won't think anything about it, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, huh. Or I'll completely miss it, maybe. But I still probably subconsciously hear it. Like it still gets into my subconscious probably, even if I don't hear it, but I don't know. But they do all types of sync. And like one time I saw a crane, like a construction crane, that was just like moving back and forth, synced. Like it just kept moving, like to the right or to the left, synced. Like with cars driving out and stuff. Do you hear the engine sounds? Time to sync. What's on my window? Is it synced? I saw a motorcycle. It was right after I walked up to my window, and I see a car that drove out when I walked up, and it synced with a white SUV, and then my water heater turned off. And then a red car is coming in the parking lot, and he's probably gonna sync. Looks like he synced when he came in the parking lot. And then the guy that he synced with has his arm out the window. But yeah, tractors. Usually when I see a tractor, it's synced. Usually when I see anything, it's synced, really. The tractors are another one that I think I've never seen an unsynced tractor that I can think of. I'm sure they're out there, but I've never seen one that I can think of. Motorcycles. I've never seen an unsynced motorcycle that I can think of. There's been a couple motorcycles that look like maybe they're not, but they might be the same kid. Just never know. So it's hard to tell who's not a same kid. But there's been a couple motorcycles that I don't know about, but most of them, almost all of them, sink. UTVs, all of them sink. Uh, what else? I see two whiteys driving out. One's driving out next to me, another one's driving out on the street around the corner, and then he's just slowly driving up the street. And then there's these people walking, and one's got red shorts, and they're getting to the intersection synced with whiteys. And then there's two black cars on two different streets driving out synced, and there's a tan car, and there's a white SUV that is one of the other whiteys that I've seen before, and the guy's got his arm out the window in the tan car, and he's got an 84 license plate, and he's driving by me. Sync. And then they're walking back out with the red shorts synced with the whiteys. Something else happened today. I forgot what else happened today. Something else happened today, I think. That was extremely sync-tarded. It's all extremely sync-tarded. Oh yeah, the video this morning, there's the guy in Walgreens that has like this motorcycle outside and all these stalkers. Hey, there's a cop. He drove out sync probably, and he's like the last car in all the cars that drove out. He's like the last. There's like two cars, and he's one of them. That's the last cars. But yeah, Walgreens this morning when I was recording, like I walk in, and the guy with the, what is it, like the floor buffer thing, he's like walking in front of me with it when I walk in. Like when I get to the end of the aisle, he walks in front of me, and then he was like walking behind me when I get like down over to the other side of the store, and then he like turns in the aisle when I walk by it as I'm walking up to the checkout, and then he like walks up to the checkout synced with the other guy, or he like walks right behind me with it at the checkout, like right after I walk up to it. And then the guy that comes and checks me out is like walking up sync with him as he walks behind me, and then he turns it off when they scan my item, and then he walks back behind me as I'm checking out, like as they hand him the cash or whatever. He walks back behind me and just like right behind me, and just like turns around and then walks back the other way. I don't know if he grabbed something behind me or what, but it was like he just walked behind me and then just turned around and walked back the other way. Like I don't know if he grabbed something or he's like acting like he forgot something or like what. It's just weird. He's just like walks right behind me and turns around, walks back over the floor buffer thing, and then he like, when I'm walking out the door, there's the other guy walking behind me as I'm walking out, as I start walking, and then that guy with the floor buffer thing, as I walk by him, like picks up a caution wet floor sign or something. He's like picking it up as I walk by him and walk out the door. And then there was a red semi and a blue car. There's a red semi on the street in front of me when I walk out the door, and a blue car coming in the parking lot in front of me and parking. And this bird is synchronizing with these cars right now, and this bug just flew in my window right now, and I think it's synchronized. And all these cars right now are synchronized. I see two people walking out with red shirts right now. And I think she might got camo shorts on. I can't tell if it's camo or what, but they both got a red shirt on. And they're just like taking a selfie or something. I don't know what they're doing. Or if they walked out synced or what. But here we go, they're walking again. And it was like right as this white car drove out, I think, when they started to walk again. They're walking in front of the intersection as a white truck drives through it. Oh. And they're walking up, and they're gonna walk in synced. I hear an engine sound that I think is synced with them walking, I'm not sure. They're walking up to the door, and my shower is dripping. Is that a sync? Like, it's like as they're walking up to the door that it's starting to happen. I just took a shower, but it wasn't dripping before. But it isn't turned off all the way, I guess, though, so I don't know. It was right as they were walking up to the door, though, and my sink drip synced. I don't know. It's a possibility. I hear these engine sounds outside. There's somebody walking by in the hallway. Oh yeah, last night, I already talked about this, but I'll talk about it again because it was crazy. Last night, and they had time to plan something because they knew I was going outside, because I was like getting ready to go outside. So, but I see this stalker right now. Is he stalking? Looks stalkered up with the white cars as he goes in the door. But yeah, like I went out my apartment last night, and right when I open the door of my apartment and go out in the hallway, there's a guy walking by my door with a red shirt really fast. Like he's just like this is right when I opened the door. And I was like, "Are you down with the sink?" And then I walk out in the hallway, and he's like knocking on somebody's door when I turn out of the hallway, and I'm taking the trash out, and when I go outside and I dump the trash, he's coming back out of the door of the apartment building, his red shirt. And then I think he did another sink thing after that, I don't remember. And I see this white car in the background that keeps driving by synced with cars in the foreground. And I see a lot of cars driving by synced, and I hear engine sounds, and I see chemtrails in the sky, a lot of them. And it's fucked up out here, but I'm doing good. I'm alright. How are y'all doing? Looks like people out here are crazy, but there's this guy walking back the other way that I think was on the synchro cycle earlier. I don't know if it's that guy, but I saw him walking earlier, and he's walking with one hand in his pocket, but he's got a cigarette in the other hand though, so I don't know. But I see Whitey syncing up with multiple black cars right now, so that's happening. And then a red car. And then it's gonna sync with another red car or something. Time to sync. People have been doing a lot of like directed conversations lately too, and then like that guy had that lion shirt today, and people just do a lot of like subliminal like the other day, like yesterday, when I was recording, that guy drove by me and he was like talking on the phone to somebody, and he's like, "Fuck your mother." And like, I think it was a directed conversation thing. Pretty sure it was. And he looked stalkered up, so it probably was. And then I was crossing a street one day, and these people are walking up. Like, they're not meeting me at the intersection, but they're like walking up the sidewalk, like next to me as I get across the street, like walking toward me. And then they're like talking to each other, and she's like, "Fuck you." So I think they're directed conversation things, and they do things like that, and and then like one time this lady, these people are walking by me, and they're talking to each other, and then they walk by me, and then she like leans toward me as she says it, like she's probably like looking right at me, but I'm looking forward, and she just like leans toward me really fast as she says it as they walk by me. And she was like, they're like talking about a dog or something. She's like, "He needs to be in his kennel. You need to put him in his kennel," or something like that. And she just like leans at me when she says kennel. And they'll say things about like jail synced and stuff like that. So I think that was like that. It's like a kennel. And they'll say things about like death synced and like stuff like that. Weird shit. And they'll just say things like directed at you, or they'll say things about cats because I'm ill cat. Or they'll say, or they'll have a Colorado shirt on because I got a Colorado shirt on. They put one on. Like one time I was standing outside and I have a Colorado shirt on, and this guy walks out and he has a Colorado shirt on, and it's kind of similar to my shirt. It's not the same shirt really, but it has like the same like Colorado logo on it. Damn, I didn't even turn the stove on. But I hear the engine sounds. But like we both had a Colorado hoodie on, and it's kind of like a similar shirt, and he like walks out and just walks right up to me like instantly as he comes out the door, and he's like, dude, and he like almost like grabs me, like he like gets like right in my face, and he's like, dude, we got the same shirt, look, oh my god. I'm like, wow, dude. I hear the engine sounds. But he just like came out of the door and just like instantly walks up to me and like, okay. I hear the engine sounds. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but they're going crazy with the engine sounds right now. And synced up with the cars driving by, and then I saw a bicycle, and he was probably synced. But I don't know. Probably a bicycle synced with the motorcycle engine sounds. Because they're doing so many motorcycle bicycle syncs. I don't know. But definitely I saw another motorcycle bicycle sync earlier today. I see more bicycles coming. Is there gonna be a motorcycle? I don't know where the bikes went. They must have went the other way. But I still hear the motorcycle engine though. He keeps syncing up. Like he's further in the distance now and he keeps syncing up. And then I see multiple whiteys in the parking lot and other stalkers on the street. A lot of them. And his hand stalker. Yeah, they do a lot of syncs, and then lately they've been syncing at the taco trucks. When I walk by them, they'll just like sync like at the edge of the taco truck, and then they'll sync if I walk by a parked white SUV sometimes. Like they just sync. They just like to sync. Like there'll just be a white SUV parked on the street and nobody's in it, and they'll sync at it. It's not turned on, nobody's in it. It doesn't have a 322 license plate or anything. It's just a white SUV. There's just a red car and there's a blue car driving by when I walk by it.
Like, they'll sink things. Too many things. They just sink. They just sink and they sink and they sink some more, and then they sink with the sink, and then they sink a sink with a sink. And then they literally sink a sink. I don't know how they sink a sink, but they literally do sink my kitchen sink. And it's a sink. And it's a sinked sink. And it's sus, and it's succinct, and it's synced. I see the whiteys. I think my water heater's sinking. It is doing sync. Oh yeah, and then my neighbor, like, speaking of the shower dripping, my neighbor, like, I'll hear the shower. I'll hear the toilet sink sometimes through the walls. I'll hear I think it's the shower, like, I'll just hear water dripping through the walls sometimes that, like, is synced. It starts synced. I could just write an entire library of sinks. But I want to know, do they got sink fish? Do they got sink alligators? Like, if I go to the zoo, is there gonna be animals sinking on me? Are the toucans and the lions and the dolphins gonna sink on me if I go to the zoo? If I go to Australia, am I gonna see a sink wombat? I see sink birds right now, I think. They're flying over the parking lot sinks with cars. Once again. And then, like, what about if I go to the wild? Am I gonna see wild animals sinks or what? Like, how deep does the sink go? How deep is the sinkhole? Lots of sink cars driving by and engine sounds still. That hasn't stopped. It's just the same shit over and over, just in different patterns, so, you know, the sink. something crazy happens, and then I'll tell you what happens. When I see a sink, hot air balloon or whatever. These engine sounds are synced. I don't know if you can hear them. Maybe another sync plane will fly over. I can put it in the sync plane playlist. I got like 52 videos in there, I think, of sync aircraft, sync planes, and sync helicopters. I think one of them's a drone video, actually. I accidentally put it in there. But yeah. And then that's not all the videos of planes that are synced. Like, there's other live streams, like on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, that I didn't make a short out of the plane part. So there's still a lot of other plane videos out there that missed the playlist. And there's lots of planes that I haven't recorded too, so there's also that. I see people from my apartment building that are gonna get in their car, stock it up. And they're just like crossing the street when I walked up to the window. And I hear these engine sounds as they get across the street. And then they're getting in the car. And then sing. Right as he opens the passenger door, there's a white SUV driving out. And then they synced with other cars, and then sync. I hear this engine sound as he closes the door on the car. And then I see these two cars syncing. One's in the background, one's going through the intersection in front of it, and then the other car is taking off out of the parking lot at the same time, and then it's driving forward, synced with the car and people walking through the intersection. And then it's driving out of the parking lot, and then it drove out of sight. Sync. Sync you later. And then I see blue car syncs, multiple blue cars, and then a whitey, and then a sync. Oh yeah, and then I saw this girl with the baby stroller with the red shirt that I think I saw synced on a video the other day that was like walking next to me synced. And like started walking when I walked by her or whatever. And she had a baby stroller and a red shirt today, and she was walking around synced a bunch of times. And then like I crossed the street earlier. There's this car honking, and it starts honking right when I get to the street. And it's just like honk, honk. I don't know if he's hitting his lock button or just honking or whatever, but it's just like honk, 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 honk. Like it just keeps honking as I cross, like all the way across the street. It starts at the curb and then it stops at the other curb, and then I push my glasses up right after that, and it honks one more time when I push my glasses up, and then it stops. And then I saw this whitey. He drives in front of me as I'm crossing the street. Like as I'm at the center of the street, he's driving in front of me, and he honks right in front of me, and then he throws up the devil horns. I haven't seen the devil horns in a while, but they do it. And there was this truck one time when I was delivery driving. He was throwing up the devil horns out of his window. And like kept doing it synced. Like kept sticking his arm out, window synced with the devil horns. Like he's just driving in front of me, like going the same direction as me. Like following in front of me like they do. And he's like throwing the devil horns out of his window as I drive by sync places, as I drive by intersections or whatever. And then I saw a guy throw up the 666 one time. Like just one time I think I saw that. He did that when he drove by me, one guy. And then they're always doing the one hand in the pocket. I just always see people walking with one hand in their pocket, and they're walking by me synced, and they're walking all the way up the street with one hand in their pocket. It's just a normal thing to do, right? Is that a normal thing to do, to walk all the way up a street with one hand in your pocket? Like, and you don't have anything in your other hand? You don't have a cigarette or a coffee cup or a cell phone in your other hand? You just have one hand in your pocket and you're walking all the way up the street with one hand in your pocket? And you're walking by me at a crosswalk with a red shirt and one hand in your pocket? And I'm always seeing people walking by me at crosswalks and Ravenwood corners and intersections with one hand in their pocket. But I don't know if I should keep the camera rolling or turn it off, because usually I'm gonna get off of here, and then I think about 5 other things that I forgot to talk about, and then I'm like, fuck, and then I forget it on the next live stream too, and then I'm like, oh shit. Not that I have to talk about everything, but like, it's just a lot to talk about though. There's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of stupid ass shit going on out here. This black car is parking right now, and he's probably a stalker, and he looks stalkered up, I think. Is he a stalker? Is he gonna literally have a clown face paint on when he gets out of the car? What's gonna happen next? Is he gonna sync with a sync jet or a sync parachute? Is he gonna sync Oh yeah, and then I saw like a piece of cotton flying through the air that like looks synced with this white truck. I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday or whatever, but it's always happening though, and you can believe me or not, but it is always happening. So I don't know. I don't know how it works. Some type of technology or whatever, but I'll see synced. I'll see as I walk up to an intersection, just like a piece of cotton or whatever, piece of fluff flying through the air right in front of my face as I walk up to an intersection. I'll just see that a lot. Like every time that I see that, it's happening at a sync place, or it's happening synced. Like pretty much every time that I see that, it's happening synced. So it is happening. Like you can say that it's not part of the sync thing, but it is. It does appear to be synced every single time that it happens. So this bird just flew over my head, like he was like curving, and then he just flies right over my head. And then my water heater like made a sound right when he flew over my head. It was just like. So that happened. I don't know. But he wasn't flying directly at me at first. He just like curves and flies right over my head as he approaches. And that happened right when he flew over my head. So just saying, things just happen at moments and it syncs. And it seems really synced. Definitely seems really synced. Who's in here? Nobody? I know Skynet's in here. What up, Skynet? My refrigerator's turned on. I think the light flickered when it turned on. I don't know. It was probably synced to something when it turned on. It's always synced with something. time to sync. But yeah, it's like they do the subtle sounds, they do the loud sounds, they do the far away, they do the close things, and it's like you're expecting one thing and then they do another thing, or sometimes they do the exact thing that you're expecting. Like sometimes, like they'll like they'll do things like routinely, and then they'll like switch it up. You'll be like expecting something, and then it's like a different thing, and it's like a sync, and it's like a sync fuck, mind fuck. It's like mind rape. It's like raping your mind with syncs. That's what it's like. It's like sticking a dick in your mind with a sync dick. And raping it daily, over and over. Like right now, like I don't hear engine sounds. I was expecting to hear engine sounds or something. I don't hear anything. Like what's gonna happen next? When's it gonna happen? And what's it gonna be? And how loud is it gonna be? What's it gonna be? It's coming. They're gonna rape my senses again. Ugh. I was hearing like these quiet engine sounds, and then I heard somebody like in the hallway or something making like a quiet sound. So I think it was a sync, but I don't know. I see multiple black cars synced right now though, and then a blue car that was synced with the black cars, and then an engine sound that sounds synced, and then multiple red cars, and I think a bicycle rode by really fast, or a motorcycle, or like a motorized bicycle maybe, or a synchro cycle of some kind. I see the whiteys, and one of them is the Pizza Hut whitey. He's always being a whitey. I hear the engine sounds. Are they synced? Hmm. But yeah, like every tractor is synced, every lawnmower is synced, every weed whacker is synced. And again, maybe not everyone. Like sometimes I'll hear a lawnmower, it's not like turning on or off sync, it's just mowing the lawn. And like they're in the distance, so except for those ones, it's like most of the lawnmowers that I hear are synced, most of the weed whackers, most of the people are synced. Red cars synced with the engine sound, sync. Multiple red cars sync. Let's get sync-tarded. Let's get stock-tarded in here. Let's get stock-tarded. But yeah, I forgot the pedophile guy on the bike yesterday. I think he was synced with the child again. I don't know if the child was a sync child, but I think it was. But either way, he was over near a child again when he was riding by me synced on his pedophile sync bike. Again. A pedophile synced with a child again. I hear the engine sounds. Ah! But yeah, I hear the engine sounds outside. I think I'm gonna get off of here, eat. Um, Something's gonna happen, and I'll come back on here and talk about it. There's always things happening. Um, Never know what's gonna happen. I see a guy on a motorcycle with a red shirt right now. And he's singing with a guy with a red shirt way in the background too that's walking out. So crazy shit's always happening. Something crazy's gonna happen tonight probably, and I'll get back on and talk about it or whatever. Or maybe I'll go walk around and record later. I don't know. And something probably happened I forgot to talk about. Probably multiple things. So, but next time there will be 1,000 more things to talk about. So, oh shit. So, vote for IllCat. Subscribe to Captain Glitch. Don't be a stalker head. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink with your children and your baby strollers. Because stock-tarded. You don't want to be a stock-tard. Because then you'll just be walking around and you'll be like, "Da-da!" So, don't be sink-tarded. And vote for IllCat. Later.